Okay, good morning. How are you guys doing? Awesome. Thank you for being so patient while we filtered everybody else in. Let's go ahead maybe and dial the music down. Thank you so much. So what we're going to talk about today is emotional resilience. And we're going to talk about creating the choice to respond to whatever happens to us in exactly the way that we want to respond. Would that be useful to you? To be able to choose how you feel and respond inside regardless of what's happening outside. Okay, cool. So what we do at Smart Tribes Institute is we take the latest neuroscience research, we map it to practical tools. You're going to learn 4 practical tools today, okay? Please take them back to your colleagues, take them back to your friends and family. And we then help people become emotionally resilient for the goal of business growth, right? If we don't tie this to something, business growth, improved retention, improved employee engagement, faster recruiting, right? We have to always tie this to a tangible business goal or else it can be perceived as fluffy, right? And we don't want to go there. So we use these tools all across the world. Everyone always asks me when they see the slide, are you working in the White House now? Heck no. If we were working in the White House, we'd have a different situation, but I don't really want to work in the White House. I did that twice and it was not entirely fun. So here's the thing. We're going to use these tools to manage our own state and to help our people. Now, quick comment. Some of you guys have these handouts. We just made a handful of them. Don't worry. This is simply a reminder that if you leave your contact info, we will send you an 8-part emotional resilience mini course. Okay? So this isn't that helpful on its own. It's just a reminder. So don't be bummed if you don't have one. At the end of our session, I'll remind you one more time, be sure to leave your contact info on your chair as you leave. And we'll send you all these great infographics and how to use them. Share them widely. We're on a mission to help 1 million people become emotionally resilient this year. So we need your help, okay? Cool. All right, let's start. Centers for Creative Leadership recently brought out some research towards the end of last year saying that 75% of careers are derailed due to low emotional resilience. Think about yourself, think about the people that you work with, okay? Inability to handle interpersonal problems, inability to basically lead during times of conflict, difficulty, choice, challenge adapting to change in the environment, right? So I want us to start to look at the impact on leadership, and no matter what role you're in, you are leading. You're leading your family, you're leading your friends, you're leading your colleagues, you're managing up, you're managing down, you're managing across. So here's what happens. This is from 1,000 companies. We're going to get to tools in a sec. 1,000 companies. Look at these results once we are emotionally resilient. A human is 35 to 50% more productive without burnout. Without burnout, okay? That's no bueno. We don't want the burnout. 67 to 100% more emotionally engaged. Sales close faster, okay? People feeling better. So what we're going to talk about today are these 4 tools that are going to primarily be in 2 areas, helping us release resistance and helping us make new meaning. Shakespeare said this, gosh, hundreds of years ago, nothing is either good nor bad, only thinking makes it so. So what does that mean? That means reality is what you say it is. Reality is what you say it is. What reality would you like to choose? Let's learn some tools. First, how many of you guys were here last year in my session? Okay, so last year I launched our 3rd book, Power Your Tribe, and whenever I do that, I give away 5,000 books. I gave away 3,000 last year. I hope you got one. If you didn't get one, Power Your Tribe has a lot of these tools in it. So let's talk about your brain and how amazing it is. Thanks to Stanford, Harvard, MIT, UCLA, Carnegie Mellon, we now know that 90% of our decisions, of our behaviors are driven, are dominated by our emotional brain. 90%. Our intellect only handles 10%. So what does this look like? The pathways going from your emotional brain to your intellect are like a 6-lane superhighway going in one direction. Whoosh. But the pathways going from your intellect to your emotional brain are like a little teeny trail in the forest. Quite a visual, huh? We are emotional beings. Emotions to humans are like wings to a bird. A bird can't navigate the world without wings. We navigate our experiences through our emotions. So let's talk about your brain really quickly, and then we're going to go into the tools. 3 key areas of your brain in terms of leadership that we are concerned with: reptilian, mammalian, and neocortex or prefrontal cortex. Reptilian brain, stimulus response machine coded for safety, temperature regulation, breathing, balance, life support systems. If the reptilian brain could speak, it would say dead or not. No concept of quality of life, binary, dead, not dead, okay? Next, mammalian brain. This is all about keeping you safe emotionally. Where reptilian is keeping you safe physically, mammalian keeping you safe emotionally. The limbic system, fight, flight, freeze, kind of overlaps both reptilian and mammalian. Mammalian is where we have the hippocampus, very important. This is where we have memory and learning. If people aren't remembering your company values, if people aren't living your company values, they probably don't have emotion attached to them. Think about the most powerful memories in your life. They have positive or negative emotions attached to them. Otherwise, boop, they just flush out with the buffer and you don't hang on to them. What you ate for breakfast a few weeks ago, you probably don't remember, okay? Unless it was cooked by one of your cute kids and it was like emotional and awesome, okay? If the mammalian brain can speak, it would say friend or foe. A little more evolved than dead or not, but still, stimulus response machine trying to keep us safe. Next, neocortex, prefrontal cortex right behind your forehead, the seat of the intellect, decision making, discrimination, visioning. I'm here, but I want to be there, okay? How do I get there? Problem solving. If the prefrontal cortex could speak, it would say, what can I create? That's pretty exciting stuff. But here's what happens. Changing directives, incomplete communication, conflict avoidance, overwhelm, and we end up in what we call critter state, which is a playful way of saying fight, flight, freeze. It's a playful way of basically saying you are in lockdown. Your prefrontal cortex is not available. So people always ask me, how do I get out of critter state? How many of you have been in critter state, fight, flight, freeze, in the last 24 hours? Yeah, raise your hand. Probably most of you, okay, if not several times. That's okay. What happens when we're in it? What happens when our people are in it? Here's one quick tool. First of all, when you are in critter state, your system is flooded with norepinephrine. It is basically adrenaline in your brain. We have no enzyme to break it down. The only way to break down norepinephrine is time or cardio. So one thing you can do if you really get in critter state, do some quick cardio. Go into the bathroom, do 15 jumping jacks, or if you're a maniac, do like 10 burpees. That'll totally change your state. Burpees always change my state. Woo! Okay, next, 7-7-7 breathing. You can be in your office. Inhale through the nose for 7, hold for 7, exhale through the mouth for 7. 7 times, okay? 7 in through the nose, 7 hold, 7 out through the mouth. Do 7 times, your state will shift. This is a parasympathetic, sympathetic nervous system reset. And last, what if one of your people is freaking out? Walking meeting, but you've got to do it quickly, okay? Hey, let's have a walking meeting. Keep it a fast pace because you want them to start panting. That means they're releasing norepinephrine, okay? Good. Now let's get into the real tools. What we want to do is we want to help our people get into their smart state and stay in their smart state. Smart state, all 3 parts of the brain are working together. It's a beautiful thing. Innovation, teamwork, collaboration, engagement, all happening. So take a moment and let's look at this. Where does your team go? Let's just say that there's stress around change. Where do they go? Do they go into resisting, pushing against it, complaining about it, rejecting it? Then they probably go into frustration, anger, dismissing those awesome ideas, rejecting change. Or do they go into, wow, this is really stressful. Consent is not the opposite of resistance because it's acceptance. Consent does not mean acceptance. Consent, from consenter, Latin to Middle English, means to be present to. So consent means, wow, I am really stressed. Huh. Then we get curious. What's stressful about this? Would this be stressful a year from now? How would other people see this? Would they be stressed by this? And we start to get curious and ask questions, which then helps us go into what part of our brain do we think? If we're asking questions, where are we? Reptilian, mammalian, or neocortex, prefrontal cortex? Prefrontal cortex, thank you. When we're stressed out and freaked out, we're in our pure, raw creature neurology, okay? Fight, flight, freeze, reptilian, mammalian overload. When we can get somebody to start asking questions or answering questions, they have no choice but to go into their prefrontal cortex, which is where we want them to start shifting out of that limbic system lockdown and hijack. So we get curious, we start asking questions, we start getting open-minded, and we can actually deal with change. Think about this for a sec. Where does your team default most often? Is it the first path of resistance, rejection, etc., or is it second path? How many first path? First path. Thank you for your candor. Okay, how many second path? Not quite as many. Okay, because the first path is the critter state path, right? We just want to be aware of this. The second path is the smart state path. So whenever you're in doubt, start asking questions. Curiosity is the best default. Whenever you get irritated with somebody's behavior, get curious. You don't know what it's like on their map of the world. All right, let's look at something. The more people we have in their smart state, the more we have what's called a smart tribe. When we have an opportunity, like the government shutdown, was anybody affected by the government shutdown? Fairly stressful, yes? One of our clients, Citizant, had 40 people who were furloughed by the government shutdown. They said, okay, we're not gonna go into critter state. What we're gonna do is we're gonna look at what would we like and how can we shift this. They got everybody jobs internally, and then they had to figure out how to pay them, right? Because the government was shut down. Those 40 people, they had to either send home and say, sorry about your mortgage, sorry about your car payment, we can't pay you. Or they could get in their smart state. The CEO said, here's my vacation hours. I'm throwing them in a bucket. Those vacation hours will go to whomever needs them of the 40. A few other people started throwing their vacation hours. Within a week or so, we had 1,800 vacation hours that had been donated. People didn't even know who would get their vacation hours. They just knew that they were going to chip them in for the welfare of the whole tribe. It worked out. Let's look at what you're going to do. So there you are. You're in critter state. You're going to use the emotion wheel. See this colorful wheel? In the center is mad, sad, scared. At the bottom is peaceful, powerful, joyful. At any given point in time, only 36% of us actually know what emotion we're feeling. Please take the emotion wheel, grab it off the site. You know what? Would it be easier if I just sent you the PDF? Okay, so when you leave your contact info on your chair, I will add the PDF to you so you don't have to search around and get it, okay? So here's the deal. You look at the emotion wheel and you say, where am I? Okay, I am overwhelmed, okay? So be present to it. Consent. Remember, consent doesn't mean approving. Consent just means not denying, not squishing it down and saying, I am overwhelmed, okay? So we say that, here I am experiencing being overwhelmed, all right, I get present to it, and now, what would I like? But sometimes people are a little too tied up in knots. They can't quite get to what would I like because they're at what would I not like, okay? So if someone's like, well, I don't want so much stress. What would the opposite of that be? I would like more peace. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes you have to do what we call maneuvering your consciousness. How many of you guys have been in a situation at work where people have been so upset that they just need to purge all that anger and frustration? Good. Maneuvers of consciousness works in a group, but please follow these directions. When you use our maneuvers of consciousness tool, have people buddy up. Notice the specific directions. You'll get the directions on the emotional resilience course as well. 3 minutes per, 3 minutes of negative evaluation. Buddy number 1 says to buddy number 2, I hate this is awful, this is painful, rah, 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 rah. Timer goes up. They have to stop negative evaluation. They look at the emotion wheel and they say, wow, I'm angry and I feel disrespected, and they're saying all the negative stuff, okay? Shake your body out because emotions do have energy. Now, next step, curiosity. 3 minutes in curiosity, then look at the emotion wheel. Notice that you're starting to shift. This is very interesting. Shake it off. Go to the next step, amazement, 3 minutes. Buddy number 2 is just holding space and doing the timer. They're not saying anything. Buddy number 1 is just being witnessed by buddy number 2, okay? They go through all the amazement. Now they start to see that they're moving on the emotion wheel down into the peaceful, powerful, joyful. Then they go into full appreciation. Sometimes you're going to need a tool like this when people are really stuck, okay? What's going to happen here is people are going to be really, really stuck, and 12 minutes later, they're going to have a whole shift. You can be of tremendous service by using this tool, okay? Now, if they're not totally tied up in knots, then you can immediately go to, what would you like? I want you guys to use this tool verbatim. And as I'm going over these tools, please think about how you're going to apply these tools, because I want you to leave this session knowing exactly what to do with these tools, knowing exactly how to use consent, knowing how to use maneuvers of consciousness, knowing how to use the outcome frame. The outcome frame you're going to use with colleagues. I use this with one of my kids to get them to do their homework. I used this with my mom last fall as she was dying. We had to do maneuvers of consciousness first because, she was pretty angry. She had leukemia. It was like, ah. I said, okay, I'm just going to hold space for you, Mom. And one day she said, I'm ready. I'm ready to use your weird neuro tools. I'm tired of suffering. We did maneuvers of consciousness. Then we did the outcome frame. And she died a month later, totally at peace. Whereas she was really unhappy and angry. So that's an extreme way to use this. But you guys, this is how we love people, right? We help them get out of suffering. And people are suffering every day. And most of it, right, is emotional stuff. So I want you guys to use this verbatim, because these words are hypnotic language, but not the mwahaha, Dr. Evil kind. These are actually helpful hypnotic language. They guide the brain. So check this out. First question, what would you like? Positive outcome you can create and maintain. Not, for George Clooney to give me $1 million, no. So what would you like? Something you can create and maintain. To be peaceful inside, regardless of what's happening outside. Something you can do, okay? What will having that do for you? Benefits and how you'll feel. What will having that do for you? What's the difference between would and will? What do you load up when you hear the word, what would you like? What would you like? Possibility, thank you. What will having that do for you? Action, thank you. Yeah, we made a commitment, right? What would you like? Here's a buffet. Ooh, I want the salmon. Ooh, what will having that do for you, okay? So I want you to notice this. What's happening in the brain when we use the outcome frame is we start to load up visual, auditory, kinesthetic structures. Those visual, auditory, kinesthetic structures help us actually step into and test drive that future. Please use this verbatim. What would you like? What will having that do for you? Ooh, how will you know when you have it? We're getting into even more visual, auditory, kinesthetic structures. A person is actually stepping in and going, what's it going to be like in that future? They're checking it out. When you use the outcome frame, do it for 15 minutes. I know it sounds like a long time. 15 minutes, every human being will have loaded up enough visual, auditory, kinesthetic, maybe even olfactory and gustatory, the 5 senses. If we just get 3 of the 5 senses, their brain's going to go, oh, this is actually possible, as opposed to, ooh, this is a fantasy. So we got to do it for 15 minutes. How will you know when you have it? I'll show you an example in a sec. My favorite question, this is the ego question. What of value might you risk or lose? What side effects may occur? The answer to question number 4 is why you don't have number 1. You don't have number 1 because your ego can't get over the cost of number 4. I'll show you an example in a sec. And then what are your next steps? Okay, this is just a short one. So, what would you like? More strategic time? Anybody else want more strategic time? Yeah, that's kind of fun, huh? What will having that do for you? Feel more engaged, peaceful, powerful, making a difference. Ooh, that feels good, okay? How will you know when you have it? Notice the specificity. Please, please, please. You've got to be specific here. You've got to be specific. 2 hours or more each week on strategy. Cut the number of meetings by 25%. Direct reports at leadership level 5. We have to have some really specific stuff or the brain is going to say fantasy. Favorite question, what value might you risk or lose? May initially feel less important. Uh-oh, out of the details, out of the minutia. Have to let go of some control. Ooh, the ego loves control. Control. Anybody love control here? Oh, it feels so good. The ego is constantly seeking control or approval. So that's when you know that you're in your ego and you're not in your pure smart state. Notice, okay? Have to give up rescuing, another positive, powerful addiction, rescuing. Many of us have that, okay? And have to cultivate our directs. Have you guys noticed this? Your directs don't just cultivate themselves magically. You have to invest, right, to cultivate and elevate people. Okay, good. So now, next steps, get specific. Recurring strategic time and calendar. Get out there and do that recurring 2 hours every Friday morning or whatever, okay? Let go of some control, right? Which meetings to skip. Cultivate your people. Use our effective meetings process. Use our effective delegation process. Get the outcome in 90 days. Okay, good. Now it's like coming down to earth and we're starting to believe it. All right. I want to pause here for a sec to make sure you guys get the outcome frame. You're going to use the outcome frame when people are in critter state and you need to help them get out. You're going to use the outcome frame in a group. One of our clients had a product, they shipped it, it didn't go well. The customers didn't want it because they didn't really do adequate customer research. Everybody was pointing fingers, everybody was grumpy. They gathered the team up and they said, hey, what would we like here? Well, we want a product that our customers want. Good. What will having that do for us? Took about half an hour to do this group outcome frame. Afterwards, fast forward 4 months later, of course, question number 5 is the best, right? Because everybody starts owning stuff and owning the solution. 4 months later, new digital product is released, customers are happy. Please get those groups that are in critter state, that are in the blame frame versus the outcome frame. If people are looking at the problem, you need an outcome frame. If people need to create a rich desired state, you need an outcome frame. Our clients use outcome frames in sales and marketing scenarios too to make sure that they can create that rich, powerful desired state. Questions on outcome frame. Do you guys know how to use this? You're going to go back after this brief session today, and you're going to have these potent tools. So if you have questions, don't be shy. You can just holler it out, and I'll address it. Okay, if we're good on the outcome frame, let's talk about reframing. Sometimes we don't have such a gnarly situation or we don't have the time maybe to do a rich full outcome frame. Sometimes we might just want to reframe something. Think back to the government shutdown. One of the first things that the CEO did when she found out that 40 of her people were going to be furloughed and the government wasn't going to get around to paying them many millions of dollars until it decided to reopen, was she said, okay, we can either go into critter state or we can say, what can we create from this that's awesome? And she decided, let's create the richest smart tribe, the most connected group of people in this situation, so we respond to the government shutdown by coming together, supporting each other like never before. And that's what worked. Let's do a quick reframe. Let's say that your partner every morning makes coffee and spills coffee grounds all over the counter, doesn't happen to notice them, leaves them there, and goes off on their merry way. How might you reframe that? First, let's look at the steps. Step 1, look at the story that you're telling yourself. And notice if that story feels good or not. Reality is what you say it is, okay? Step 2, if it doesn't feel good, how would you like to feel, right? Step 3, create that new story. Step 4, use that new story going forward. So coffee grounds spilled all over the counter. Okay, how would you like to reframe that? Let's take some examples. What might we say? He's making fresh coffee for me. Yay! He's in a rush. Yeah, it's great that he has a job to rush to. Thank you for employment. What else how else can we reframe this? Grateful for how great that we actually have gourmet coffee. Yay, thank you for that. Get a Keurig. Oh my gosh, we could get a Keurig. Yeah. But do I want a Keurig if every morning I can appreciate my husband from the spilled coffee grounds? Good. Make sense? Okay. I'm still not totally sold that there aren't questions on the outcome frame. See, I'm not scary at all. I'm like super approachable. Oh, yes. Yes, ma'am. Just holler it out. Addicted to being negative. Anybody else have that experience? Okay, here's the thing with addicted to negative. My question is, what would they like? Seriously, thank you for just giving me exactly what I asked for. I appreciate that. Addicted to negativity is a perfect situation for an outcome frame. Hey, I've been thinking about how to have the richest, work experience possible with you. So what I thought we would do is we would use this new tool I just learned. It's called the outcome frame. What would you like? And here's what I bet you're going to hear, regardless of what the words are. For those of you guys who were in my session last time, and it's Power Your Tribe, Chapter 2, beneath it all, beneath everything, people crave safety, belonging, or mattering. The person who's negative all the time might feel they don't matter enough. They're not getting enough praise, appreciation, acknowledgement of their unique gifts. They might feel they don't belong enough. They might not feel part of the tribe. They might feel like an outsider. They might not feel safe. They might be like, whoa, changing directives. Where's my safe, solid foundation? So I want you guys to start to look at the fact that none of us buy products or services, okay? None of us buy stuff. We buy emotional experiences. We go with FedEx because it makes us feel what? Safety, belonging, or mattering? Tell me your experience. Safety? Yeah. I'll use FedEx instead of the US Postal Service because it's going to get there. I feel safe, okay? So I want us to start to notice the people in your world, what are they asking you for on a regular basis? They're asking you for stuff. They're asking you for safety or belonging or mattering. I promise you. Thank you. Great question. Safety, where does trust fit in? Safety plus belonging plus mattering equals trust. Yeah, it's a combo pack or a trio pack. You've got to have those three to create trust, okay? And you know what? This is where reframing can be helpful. What if there's a government shutdown and things are not safe? That's where you use the magic word. I lecture at Harvard Business School in the executive education area, and just a while ago we did some research, I want to say a year and a half ago, around the word together. Please write that down. Hey, together, we're going to figure this out. Together, we're going to navigate through this. What emotional experience do you get from the word together? Belonging, safety, mattering. Yeah, you get them all. So use that word all the time. Together, we're going to work through this. Because if we know that we're not in there alone, right, and we know that we're part of the tribe, and we know that we have value, right, we're going to be in good shape. Okay, so reframing, make sense? Okay, reframing is a quick way to help us shift our state. Look how quickly you guys reframed the spilled coffee grounds, okay? Since reality is what we say it is, since our great good fortune is to lead others, since leadership is a privilege, it is not an entitlement. I don't care what the org chart says, okay? When we have the opportunity, the great good fortune, to help people rise up and have more emotional resilience and see life differently, when we change the story, we change the meaning, We are meaning-making machines. Tell me the meaning that you would make in this situation, okay? You see your boss, and your boss is like, okay? What meaning do you make? Frustration? There's a problem. What if your boss just has a stomach ache, right? So we take visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, gustatory information. We just saw that that's visual information. It zooms through our brainstem into our mammalian brain. We say, ooh, we might feel scared, our shoulders might clench up, zooms right to our prefrontal cortex, and we make meaning. They are mad, they are disappointed, they are frustrated. What does that mean? They're frustrated with me, they're disappointed with me, I better keep my head down, I better do mediocre work, I better not stretch, okay? And it all just became this huge ripple effect. All right. I want us to start to look, I want you guys to ask questions, okay? I want us to start to look at how we can take people to whole new levels by helping them to stop resisting. Notice the amount of energy we put out when we resist. How expensive is resisting? How expensive is resisting? What have you noticed? How much energy are we putting out when we resist? A lot. Resist dare to stand against, right? There's no ability to actually move and shift when we're resisting. Consenting is simply saying, here I am, I'm feeling whatever, and now what would I like? It's totally okay to be in a meeting and to be really irritated and to say, you know what, you guys, whoa, I'm feeling really irritated right now, and I'm going to shift it, but that's just where I am. If we can start sharing our humanity in the workplace, we can help other people share their humanity too. Put the emotion wheel out in your workplace. Start letting people talk about what is going on with them, because we can't shift their state if we can't consent to it, okay? If we're really stuck, use maneuvers of consciousness. Help people just get it out. Help people get that negative evaluation out, and then go to curiosity. Time it for 3 minutes per. We'll send you the slides. We'll then send you the emotional resilience course that has 8 different tools. I want us to start to notice how resilient we really are. We had a client, a big food company. They had fake news. They had a fake news problem. 27% of their entire revenue from one of their product lines plunged on fake news on social media. It wasn't even true news. It was fake. All the marketing people were totally in critter state. We gathered 35 people up, took them through maneuvers of consciousness in buddy groups, right? 12 minutes for one buddy, and then 12 minutes for the other buddy. So in about half an hour-ish, we had 35 people who had totally shifted their state. Then they could say, okay, great, what would we like? We're gonna turn this baby around. We're gonna create some new campaigns. We're gonna get revenue back on track. But before that, they had been spinning for about 6 weeks. If people are spinning, be careful how you use these tools. Don't make it condescending. Oh, so you're kind of broken? So I'm here to fix you. Okay, no. Everybody is doing the best they can with the tools they have. These are new tools. Remember the humanity. Remember, we're human. Hey guys, I just learned these new tools and they're helping me be more emotionally resilient. When I get stuck, I use these tools and they help me get unstuck faster. So I'd like to share these tools. Use them if you want. Don't use them if you don't want. But let's just entertain me. And let's do this together. Let's test, remember that word. Let's test this out together. And let's see how it goes, okay? Good. Reframing. Reality is what you say it is. We want to make sure that we help when people are feeling unhappy, uncomfortable, when they're telling themselves a story. Oh, some more Harvard research. This was about 4 years ago. It's never too late to have a great childhood, right? And they were talking about how when they were proving that when we start telling different stories about our childhood, we actually shift our experience with our family. It's all about stories, because what is the truth, right? There's his experience, there's hers experience, there's their experience. Who knows what the truth is anyway? So I want us to get really present to helping our people shift the story. If all you take away from today is the outcome frame, I swear to God, it will change your life. It will change your life. You saw how I used it with my mom. I used it with one of my kids when he was totally crashing and burning out of high school. And we found out what he would like was baseball camp. Ah, thank you. What will having that do for you? Okay, we went through the outcome frame and we were able to attach good grades to baseball camp. But if we started with, trying to make him like studying, that wasn't going to go anywhere. He already didn't like studying. But what he really wanted, baseball camp. We can work with that, okay? It took about a year and a half. We got his GPA up 2.34, which is non-trivial, and he got into 7 colleges. And before that, it was looking not good for college. Okay? So I want us to start using the outcome frame up, down, across the org chart. Please write this down. 2 things we have to create, 2 experiences we have to create in the brain at work. Aspiration and insights. The outcome frame helps a person have their own insights. Not yours, that you spoon feed to them. They're not going to be as emotionally engaged with that. But it helps create the experience of, takes them way into glorious future. So they have their insights, and then they can say, well, I'm cold and hungry now, but I'm going to the Ritz-Carlton with 24/7 room service and Egyptian cotton sheets, yay. So aspiration and insights. I also want us to think about using this to build your brand internally. If you use the outcome frame with your leader or your boss's boss or whatever, what you'll find is your brand will start to be, wow, whenever I meet with such and such, I have these really cool ideas. This person helps me have cool ideas. This person helps me solve problems. It's very good for your brand. There are 3 things we have to trigger in the physiology of a person for them to feel emotionally engaged. 1 hormone, 2 neurotransmitters. The hormone is oxytocin. Connected, bonded, together, safety, belonging, mattering. Oxytocin, woo! If you want to experience oxytocin, you can't do this in the workplace. You need to hug for about 20 seconds. Not appropriate in the workplace, okay? But you can do it at home, because it is like 1/100, 2/100. I mean, it takes a few minutes. That would be a little weird in the workplace. Don't do it, okay? Just trust me. You can hug verbally. How do you verbally hug? By giving people what they emotionally crave, safety, belonging, mattering with your words, okay? Oxytocin. Next, serotonin, feel good. We achieve something, we feel good. We come together, we feel good. We're seen, we feel good. We belong, we feel good. We're safe, we feel good. And then, of course, dopamine. Dopamine is cool because it helps us inspire reward-motivating behaviors. So I think I'm going to get rewarded if I do this accountability thing. Accountability feels really good here. Accountability is what makes me shine here. Accountability is how I get praise here. Ooh, I want to do it, okay? So dopamine. All right, good. I want to ask you guys, okay, we're just going to skip that. Okay, so we've got 5 minutes left. Ask me questions. You're going to leave your clearly written so our team can read it, email address, phone number if your writing is creative, and my team needs to call you to say what was that email address, or business card. We're going to send you the PDF of all this so you can blow up the emotion wheel and stick it on the wall. We're going to send you the Emotional Resilience mini course. Share it all over the world, okay? We want 1 million people to become emotionally resilient this year. So, questions on how you're going to apply this. Are we good? If you can stand up and holler it out, that would be great. Yes? Do you want the reframing slide? This one, yes. Ah. Good. Okay, how do you use reframing with black and white people? Or people say that's woo-woo, right? Or you're being delusional, or someone from California probably taught you that, right? what we find is make the person curious. Pull them into their prefrontal cortex. So you might need a precursor to the reframing to say, well, what do you think this would look like a year from now? If you were over in the such and such department, what would this look like? If you were outside of the company, what might this look like? What story might Bob, Mary, Sue, Charlie say about this? Sometimes I'll pick Conan O'Brien. What would Conan O'Brien say about this? What story would he make up about this? Okay? We want the person to start to go into their prefrontal cortex. And this is, you guys can tell I was a Buddhist monk for 7 years, but we're not going into that right now. So what's cool is you step away from yourself, because that's the ego mind that's swirling, and you start to look at it from different directions, right? With the curiosity, and then you're unstuck, okay? If we're stuck in the suffering, in the controlling, in the seeking approval, we can't get out of it. Curiosity is the key with others and with ourselves. Thank you. Yeah, good. We can take one last question. Can you stand up and holler? Stand up and holler. She's like, I'm standing, I'm just petite. Good. Thank you. What do you do when you ask a person, what would you like? And they say, I don't know. How many of you guys have noticed this about humans? A lot of us don't know what we would like. Yeah, good. Thank you for the question. So what you're going to say is, what would you like? Well, I don't know. What would you not like? Everybody knows what they would not like. I would not like so much stress. I would not like whatever, these extra 5 pounds. I would not like to get grumpy whenever I talk to person X, okay? Find out what they would not like. Chances are good they will give you a list. Ask them of that list, what is most painful? Oh, item number 2, when I get triggered by Billy Bob. Okay, great. So what would the opposite of that be? What would happen if you were not triggered by Billy Bob? Well, if I could interact with Billy Bob and not feel triggered. Okay, so I would like to, just be peaceful and stand in my energetic weight. Another topic for another time. When I interact with Billy Bob. That's what you would like. Great. What will having that do for you? Feel proud of myself, feel like I'm standing in my executive presence, etc. So what would you not like? Get the list. What's most painful? Pick that one. What's the opposite of that, please? So would you like that? Remember, don't paraphrase. Whatever you were taught about paraphrasing, it's wrong, okay? Don't paraphrase. Because paraphrasing is telling somebody what their reality is. That is like / no bueno, okay? Deeply uncool. Echo back what they said. I want to be peaceful in all my interactions with Billy Bob. So you'd like to be peaceful in your interactions with Billy Bob. Echo back what they say. Please, please don't paraphrase, okay? And if you're giving feedback, I've got to say one quick thing. This whole feedback sandwich thing, that's really a bad idea, okay? It's like, well, you're awesome, but you kind of suck here. But you're awesome because I feel so uncomfortable. Okay, don't do that. Here's how you do it so the brain actually gets it. You say, what's working is bing, 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 only up to 3 things. Don't overload them. What's working is, wow, you're really accountable. You get all your stuff done on time, per spec, love it. What's working is you're super innovative. You're always having all these cool new ideas. Pause. Their brain is loading up visual, auditory, kinesthetic structures of what you like. Remember, hypnotic language. What's working is. Use it verbatim. Okay, they got it. Processing. And what I'd like to see more of is deeper collaboration with marketing. Here's what it might look like. What else might I like? Mentoring Susie Q in these particular areas. Equal amounts of what's working is and what I'd like to see more of is. Then you have to stop. Stop. You have to zip it. because they're going ching, 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 ching. Okay, all right? And please do it in 2 ways. Do it to their face, and if they're remote, do it over webcam. If you have remote workers, you have to use your webcam. I don't care if you're having a bad hair day, you have to use your webcam, okay? We all know that only 7% of communication is the content. Don't miss the vocal tone, pace, pitch, and the body posture gesture. Use your webcam. It doesn't matter. They're not looking at your hair anyway. So we want to make sure that we're doing that. So we say it to them, and then we email it to them. I cannot tell you how often people, and it's called the feedback frame. The feedback frame. And you can look on Forbes. I've written a bunch of blogs on feedback and the feedback frame. If you say Forbes, Comaford, feedback frame, you'll get exactly how to use the feedback frame. What'll happen is people will save that email, and they'll say to you that they read it on a rainy day. People freaking love feedback frames. They feel so good. Woo, oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin. And you're giving them feedback, and they love it. It's great, okay? All right, good. Are we okay? Are we good? All right. Thank you for the opportunity to be of service to you. Leave your stuff so you can get the mini course. And have an awesome conference. Thank you.